When I received the surprising call offering me the role of the Bachelor, I didn't know my decision would be a groundbreaking one. I hadn't watched the show before. I hadn't even thought much of the show before. If pressed, I would have assumed that a black man had been chosen as the lead in the past. Hadn't it been on the air forever? Surely at least one brother's led the franchise. That thought would quickly be proven wrong. I discovered that I would be the first ever black bachelor more than a week after accepting the role. That bit of information heightened the stakes of my choice. It made me question whether I made the right decision at all. We were in the midst of a real moment in America. Racial conflict swirled at its highest level in my lifetime. Every day seemed to bring new examples of brutality to contend with. The first announcement of a new black bachelor wouldn't be some great milestone on the march to equality, but it would turn heads. Did I want to inject myself into that crossfire? My first instinct was to consult my closest confidants. Several friends were also members of Bachelor Nation and had once received similar calls. They shared familiar wisdom: relax, live in the moment, be yourself. As true as their offerings might have been, they weren't very helpful. I turned to my black friends to get their insight. They understood the gravity of the choice in ways that others couldn't, but they still didn't have much good advice to offer. In truth, I posed an impossible question. No one's advice could prepare me for the challenge ahead. I had to move ahead on this path alone. During the greatest racial reckoning in a generation, the producers at ABC turned to me to lead one of America's favorite franchises as its first black star. No one could fully understand the weight of that choice. As announcement day approached, my emotions crashed in waves. I felt excitement at all the possibilities The Bachelor represented. The possibility of love in the short term, and the wide open, unknowable possibilities of whatever would come after. I felt nervous, wading into a world of flashing lights that I knew nothing about. But soon, above all else, I felt the weight of responsibility. My decisions would be picked apart in ways that hadn't been for other bachelors past. After spending a lifetime in mostly white spaces, I knew what it meant to represent a race to people who didn't know better. But this was a whole different league. I didn't want to mess it up. I also didn't even know what mess it up meant. As time went on, the responsibility hardened into a burden. Fortunately, I had the support of many thousands of people behind me. Messages streamed in by the hundreds when I was announced as The Bachelor. They cheered me on, applauded my choice, and wished me well on my journey. They held high hopes and expectations. They'd be rooting for me, they said. I appreciated the love. Of course, underneath it all, the pressure only increased. Months later, I watched the premiere of my season The Bachelor from my apartment in New York City. My closest loved ones gathered round. I slid in between my roommate, Tyler Cameron, and my mother to watch the episode. I struck a deal with Twitch, the online live streaming platform, to stream the small viewing party I'd assembled. I interacted in real time with fans during the episode and donated the proceeds to the LeBron James Family Foundation to help fund his I Promise school. Only 3 of us gathered in the living room, but I stretched my mind to imagine our audience, the thousands of eyeballs fixed on our every move. I couldn't get too comfortable. I had to keep quiet on the behind-the-scenes tidbits that I might otherwise have spilled. No spoilers allowed. Most of all, I had to keep from reacting, even though I was seeing the episode the same way they all were for the first time. And, oddly enough, I barely recognized the man on the screen.